Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's review we're going to be taking a look at the third entry into the Transformers Studio series line, that being the Transformers Dark of the Moon Crowbar. Now Crowbar was one of those Decepticon characters that was completely made entirely for the movie. As you can see here in his concept art, he's very beast-like and definitely does look very insectoid. We can see all the dreads, and it does say that he is Studio Series. On the back of the packaging we've got a picture of him in the robot mode and his GM Chevy Suburban alt mode. At the top it says that he is big screen inspired, and we've got some of the other figures from the assortment as well as the backdrop. The other side of the packaging has yet again a very cool image of Crowbar. Now Crowbar was actually one of the coolest scenes in Dark of the Moon, that being the highway chase where him and his two brothers were chasing down Sentinel Prime. The figure is a heavy retool and also a remold of that Transformers The Last Knight Deluxe Class Berserker. We will bring that figure in just a bit for some comparisons, but first of all we're going to be taking a more detailed look at Crowbar. Now as you can see, for his head sculpt it is exceptionally well detailed. He does have a very large overbite. You can see his two fangs sticking up, and you can kind of make out, my camera will pick up, some detailing of teeth inside. We've got a total of 8 insectoid eyes, which really gives him this very beast-like look, this very dangerous and scary predator. We do have some of these dreads. There's quite a few dreads all throughout the figure that really make him look how he did in the movie. The torso section too is very detailed. We've got lots of different pistons in there and sculpted in detailing. Quite a muted colour palette used for this figure, but it's definitely very accurate to the movie. We do have some slight kibble, but that was apparent on the Berserker figure as well. Turning to articulation, Crowbar is loaded with a variety of ball joints, so therefore you can get a wide amount of poses out of him. He has a ball jointed head, allowing you to move the head sculpt all the way around. He also has a separate hinge joint, allowing you to cock the head forwards and backwards. The arms are on hinge joints due to transformation, so you can lift those up and down. They're also on ball joints, so you can move the arms outwards or up and down. There is a swivel just above the elbow, and there is a 90-degree bend at the elbow joint. There is some waist articulation, however that is mainly down to the transformation. The legs can kick forwards and backwards as well as out to the sides. There is a rotation just below the thigh and a 90-degree bend at the knee. There's also some hinge articulation for the feet, however that is mainly down to transformation. You can definitely get him in a plethora of different poses, and you can recreate that scene where he is running on the freeway in Transformers Dark of the Moon. In terms of accessories, Crowbar comes with the exact same weapons that Berserker did, that being the spiked clubs, which we do see both of them wield in Dark of the Moon. They do hold into his hands, or alternatively you can actually store them on the back section. There's a little hook that just hooks onto the back section and they stay on there. Not bad, not the securest connection. As you can see, they will just shake off. I tend to just leave them to the side though. For a comparison, here is Crowbar next to Berserker. Now Berserker is essentially Crankcase from Dark of the Moon as well, so these do definitely look very good on a shelf together. They do share essentially the exact same car parts on the back of each other, and you'll definitely see more similarities in terms of the shell-like car when we get into the vehicle mode. In terms of robot mode, there's not many similarities. They are very different. Crowbar has completely brand new legs from the thigh down, completely brand new arms, a new torso section, as well as a new head section, and also these dreads are completely brand new. So essentially, yet again, this is a brand new figure that is merely based upon this with some inspiration. Now here we have Crowbar in his Chevy Suburban alt mode that we saw him obtain in Dark of the Moon. Now the shell section is essentially identical to that of Berserker, who I will bring out in just a second for a comparison. The transformation on this is extremely frustrating, and for those who say that this is easier than Berserker, I actually disagree strongly with you. The dreads make the transformation extremely frustrating, especially trying to get the entire shell section to tab together, and I don't like the way that the dreads just protrude from the back. You can fold them up, but there's no real place for them to go, and you do run the risk of stressing these, as these are not a very bendy plastic. They're actually quite a stiff plastic, which was to my surprise upon opening this figure. However, he does have some nice details. He does have a Decepticon insignia on either side. He does have a very precisely painted Chevy logo, as well as picked out white headlights. The grille has been moulded in appropriately. The back has also got a Chevy logo, as well as some tail lights, and the roof section has got the siren lights painted as well. As for the rims, they are just detailed, and as you can see, we do have some details here for faux suspension, and we do have some gas hub caps on this side. So overall, for detail, the Crowbar figure is actually pretty decent. Now, in terms of weapon storage, Berserker actually was able to hide his weapons underneath the vehicle mode, but unfortunately on Crowbar, the only weapon storage we have is these little slots in the side, which Berserker did have also, and you just plug these weapons in, and it really doesn't look too good at all. Once again, I think that these weapons should not have been included, and they should have perhaps included a gun on this, as it would have made for a much cooler and more distinctive looking presence on the shelf. For a comparison, here I have Crowbar and Berserker. Now straight away you would not be able to tell which one was Crowbar and which one was Berserker due to the striking similarities in the alt mode, which is actually accurate to the movie. So that's a very, very nice touch. The only difference in terms of paint application between Berserker and Crowbar is that Crowbar uses a very dark metallic blue for the windows, whereas Berserker was more of a light colour. Also, you can just tell that this is Crowbar due to the dreads hanging out the back. Berserker was fairly clean in terms of his transformation, but if we just tip them upside down, you can see that they are more or less the exact same where in terms of where everything goes. The head sits between the legs and the legs stretch out to the back section, so the transformation is more or less identical. Overall, Crowbar is a very nice addition to this Transformers Studio Series line. I'm definitely very glad to see more of these dreads being introduced into the Transformers toys, as they were very cool characters and their concepts were definitely very unique and distinctive. I do hope that we get a hatchet to complete the dreads, as we near enough have them all now. We just need one more, and I don't see why Hasbro and Takara Tomy wouldn't collaborate once again to give us that final dread. I hope that you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please let me know down in the comment section below. Until my next review, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.